An idea, anyway. How that works, don't know. Mark Dubowitz is the chief executive of the Foundation for Defense of Democracies. Mark, how you doing? Good morning to you. Read your piece today with Richard Goldberg, New York Post. Put it up, guys. President Biden must face reality. It's time to act versus Iran. This is one of the quotes here. President Biden must face reality. The Ayatollah in Iran is attacking Americans and American allies without fear. Biden so far has responded with American mush, but Ali Khamenei, won't back down until he runs into American steel. Hey, Mark, what are they afraid of?
Well, the Biden administration is afraid of escalation, as they say. The problem is Iran is escalating in response to American inaction and weakness. We already have an American who was killed. I don't know how many more Americans, Bill, have to be killed until the Biden administration gets a spine and actually hits back directly against Iran's Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei.
Okay, so there is a theory that the reason why they're not striking back with force in the American steel you describe is because they don't want to blow up any nuclear deal down the road. You think there's validity to that argument?
Bill, but there is no nuclear deal. I mean, Iran has been massively escalating its nuclear program, and most of that escalation occurred when President Biden got elected and decided to abandon the maximum pressure campaign of President Trump. And he adopted what I would call a strategy of maximum concessions. He's given tens of billions of dollars to the mullahs in Iran, and in response, they've massively escalated their nuclear program. They're going after U.S. warships. They're attacking our troops in Iraq and Syria. And, of course, they've unleashed their proxies against Israel in Gaza and in Lebanon.
Okay, I asked Leon Panetta over the weekend why the response has been soft. Why do you think it is, Mark?
Well, again, Bill, I think the theory of the case from Jake Sullivan, from President Biden, is that, we can de-escalate and the Iranians won't hit us. They obviously want to keep this conflict confined to Gaza. They don't want Israel going after Hezbollah in the north, even though there are 80,000 Israelis who've left their home in the north, and Hezbollah could do far more damage to Israel than Hamas even did to Israel in Gaza. They're trying to contain the conflict. The problem is, again, the more they contain it, the more they show American weakness and not American steel, the more the Supreme Leader in Iran is escalating. We need to strike his navy like Ronald Reagan did in 1988 when, in response to interference with international shipping, President Reagan sank half the Iranian navy and all of this interference stopped.
Yeah. And Soleimani was taken out the first week of January 2020. Nothing happened. I mean, the world held its breath and nothing happened. You also write that President Biden, after dozens of attacks, issued a sanctions waiver for $10 billion previously held in Iraq. You write that $6 billion ransom payment still awaits Iran and Qatar, and $30 billion in oil revenue provides through non-enforcement of sanctions. And then the Houthis were on the terror list, and this administration took them off. In addition, you've got these American hostages, right? The administration says 1 American woman, 7 men are being held. You think we're ever going to see them again?
Bill, God willing, we will. I worry we won't. Again, Hamas has been on a campaign of economic and psychological, I'd say psychological and emotional terrorism against the state of Israel. I'm not sure Israel's going to see many of the hostages back. I'm not sure we're going to see our hostages back. And I think the reason that the Israeli Defense Forces decided to reinstate military operations is they believe, and I think rightly so, that without overwhelming military pressure on Hamas, there would have been no hostages released. And I think they're going to have to do that again if there's any chance anyone's going to see their loved ones again.
Mark, thanks.